What if the silent enemy you can't see changes the world as you know it? Picture this. It's December 2019, and the bustling city of Wuhan, China, is about to become the epicenter of a health crisis unlike any we've seen in our lifetime. An invisible adversary, known as COVID-19, is quietly making its entrance, unbeknownst to the millions going about their daily lives. Within weeks, this disease caused by the SARS-CoV-2 virus begins to show its true colors. It spreads rapidly, not just within Wuhan, but beyond its borders, reaching every corner of the globe with startling speed. By March 2020, the World Health Organization is left with no choice but to declare it a global pandemic. Now, this is not just any virus. It's a ruthless invader, showing no mercy, especially to those most vulnerable. The elderly, those with existing health conditions, they bear the brunt of this onslaught. The fatality rates, they start to climb, and they climb fast. Millions of families and communities worldwide are left to face the devastating loss of loved ones. The world watches in horror as the death toll rises day after day, week after week. This silent enemy is not just lethal, it's deceptive. It doesn't announce its arrival with fanfare or warning. It slips into communities silently, quietly taking hold and wreaking havoc. People who look and feel healthy one day could be fighting for their lives the next. It's a lottery no one wants to play, but one that we're all forced to participate in. And the most chilling part? This is just the beginning. The world as we know it is about to change in ways we can't even begin to comprehend. As the virus continues its relentless march across the globe, the full extent of its impact is yet to be revealed. And just like that, our world was turned upside down. This is not the end of our story, but merely the beginning of a saga that continues to unfold. The unwelcome arrival of COVID-19 has changed the course of history, and we are still grappling with its dark and far-reaching consequences. Can you imagine every hospital bed filled, every doctor overwhelmed? This was not a hypothetical scenario. It was a grim reality faced by healthcare systems globally during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. This relentless virus did not merely infect individuals. It seeped into the very foundations of our healthcare structures, leaving a path of destruction in its wake. In every corner of the world, hospitals were stretched to their breaking point. What was once a place of healing became a battlefield, a war against an invisible enemy. The flood of COVID-19 patients led to an acute shortage of hospital beds. Imagine the heart-wrenching decisions doctors had to make, choosing who gets a bed and who doesn't. But the strain didn't stop there. As the virus spread like wildfire, the demand for medical supplies skyrocketed. From ventilators to personal protective equipment, the scarcity was felt globally. Healthcare workers, our frontline soldiers, were left vulnerable without the necessary armory to fight this battle, putting their own lives at risk while trying to save others. And let's not forget the extraordinary burden on healthcare personnel. Doctors, nurses, paramedics, and all healthcare workers worked tirelessly, often without breaks, sleep, or even time to mourn the patients they lost. The emotional, mental, and physical toll was immense. They were not just treating a disease, they were battling fear, anxiety, and exhaustion. Yet, amidst the chaos, there was resilience. Hospitals and healthcare workers adapted in remarkable ways. Makeshift hospitals sprouted up in parks, convention centers, and stadiums. Retired healthcare workers returned to service, medical students graduated early to join the fight, and countless others volunteered their time and expertise. We saw the best of humanity in the worst of times. We saw courage, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to save lives. These extraordinary measures taken to treat patients remind us of the resilience and adaptability of our healthcare systems and the people who keep them running. But the truth remains. Our healthcare systems were pushed to their limits and beyond. The strain of COVID-19 on our healthcare systems is a dark fact we cannot ignore. A reminder that we must be better prepared for health crises in the future. What if recovering from a disease is just the beginning of a long journey? This is a question that many individuals who have recovered from COVID-19 find themselves grappling with. These survivors, often referred to as long haulers, are experiencing a myriad of lingering symptoms that persist well beyond their initial recovery. Long COVID, as it's commonly known, is a perplexing condition that has medical professionals and researchers scratching their heads. It's a post-viral syndrome that doesn't discriminate, affecting people of all ages and all levels of fitness. And it's not just those who experienced severe cases of COVID-19. Even individuals who had mild or asymptomatic cases can find themselves facing this long-term battle. The symptoms are as diverse as they are debilitating. Fatigue is a common complaint, leaving individuals feeling drained and unable to undertake even the simplest of tasks. Imagine a perpetual state of exhaustion, where a good night's sleep never seems to recharge your batteries. Then there's the breathlessness and chest pain, a constant reminder of the respiratory virus that once invaded their bodies. Some find themselves grappling with cognitive issues, often referred to as brain fog, where concentrating or remembering simple things becomes a struggle. Other symptoms include persistent headaches, joint pain, and even heart palpitations. It's a condition that has the ability to affect almost every system in the body. The ongoing research into long COVID is crucial. Scientists around the world are working tirelessly to understand why these symptoms persist, how to treat them, and most importantly, how to prevent them. The hope is that with time and research, we'll have more answers and better treatments. But for now, the reality is stark. For some individuals, the battle with COVID-19 doesn't end with a negative test result. For them, the virus leaves a lasting imprint, a reminder of a global pandemic that has forever changed their lives. For some, surviving COVID-19 was not the end, but the start of a new, challenging journey. A journey that we all must understand and empathize with as we continue to navigate this unprecedented global health crisis. What happens when the world stops? A question none of us ever thought we'd have to grapple with, yet as the COVID-19 pandemic swept across the globe, that's exactly what happened. Our bustling cities fell silent, offices were abandoned, and the wheels of industry ground to a halt. This sudden pause in our normal routine brought about an unprecedented economic disruption. Millions of people found themselves out of work almost overnight. Small businesses, the lifeblood of many communities, were forced to shut their doors, some never to reopen. The ripple effect was felt far and wide. The hospitality and tourism sectors, for instance, were particularly hard hit. Hotels, restaurants, airlines, and tourist attractions saw a drastic drop in patronage as travel restrictions were imposed and people chose to stay home. The manufacturing industry, too, was not spared. With global supply chains disrupted, factories struggled to source materials and deliver products. This led to a domino effect, causing further job losses and business closures. But the impact of the pandemic on the economy wasn't limited to just businesses and employment. The financial hardships experienced by individuals and families were profound. Savings were depleted, debts accumulated, and dreams of financial security were shattered. Moreover, the pandemic exposed and deepened existing economic inequalities. Those who were already struggling financially found themselves pushed even further to the brink. Meanwhile, the digital divide became increasingly apparent as remote work and online learning became the norm. Recovering from this economic shock is a challenge of enormous proportions. Governments around the world have been implementing measures such as stimulus packages, job retention schemes, and support for small businesses in an attempt to spur recovery. However, the path to economic recovery is long and fraught with uncertainty. It's clear that the economic impacts of the pandemic are far-reaching and will be felt for years to come. The COVID-19 crisis has underscored the interconnectedness of our global economy and highlighted the need for resilience and adaptability in the face of such unprecedented challenges. Our economies were brought to a standstill, with consequences still rippling through our societies. As we grapple with these consequences, we must also strive to build back better, ensuring that our economies are equipped to withstand future shocks and deliver prosperity for all. What happens to our minds when our lives are filled with fear and uncertainty? This is a question that, sadly, many have had to grapple with during the pandemic. The virus has not just affected us physically, but has also taken a significant toll on our mental health. The constant barrage of news about the virus, coupled with the isolation brought on by lockdowns, has sparked a surge in anxiety and depression. People have found themselves feeling alone, worried, and uncertain about the future. This has been a time of grief for many, as they've had to deal with the loss of loved ones, or the loss of the life they once knew. Children and adolescents, too, have been affected, with school closures and lack of social interaction impacting their mental well-being. This is a side of the pandemic that is often overlooked, but it's just as real and just as damaging. In the shadow of the virus, a silent epidemic of mental health struggles grew. What if the solution to a crisis is met with hesitation and misinformation? This question rings true in the context of COVID-19 vaccination. In a world gripped by this pandemic, the development and distribution of vaccines have been a beacon of hope. Yet this hope is overshadowed by a formidable challenge: vaccine hesitancy. Fueled by misinformation and mistrust, vaccine hesitancy threatens the global effort to control the pandemic. The science behind the vaccines is robust, but the spread of false information has sowed doubt in the minds of many. This hesitancy not only puts the individuals at risk, but also the wider community, as achieving widespread vaccination is crucial to ending the pandemic. Across the globe, healthcare professionals, scientists, and policymakers are tirelessly working to combat this misinformation, promote vaccine confidence, and ensure everyone who can get vaccinated does. Remember, in the fight against COVID-19, every shot counts. Or what if we told you that understanding these dark facts is the first step towards recovery? Unraveling the high fatality rates, overwhelmed healthcare systems, long-term health effects, economic disruptions, mental health toll, and vaccine hesitancy reveals the grim reality of COVID-19. Yet comprehending these facets is crucial to inform public health measures and galvanize collective efforts. We must stare down the darkness, armed with knowledge, empathy, and a resolution to act. In the face of darkness, knowledge is our beacon of hope.